AI has blown up in the past year, and every company is trying to find ways to use it on a daily basis and ultimately probably pay people less money. And while we've seen Netflix's $900,000 AI job posting as strikes are going on, we've also heard gaming journalists are afraid of being replaced, and now the whole gaming industry appears to be racing to use AI to create and write games. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and live streams I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. Now, this is a Bloomberg article. I'm not a big fan of Bloomberg, so I am using an archive, but it says AI is rewriting the rules of $200 billion games industry. Now, obviously, I love the gaming industry. I want it to succeed. I want it to do well, but hearing that AI is reportedly going to start rewriting the rules of the industry is a bit worrying, let's be honest. It says executives and politicians across the world worry about the havoc that next generation artificial intelligence will wreak on industries from finance to healthcare. For the $200 billion game sector, the revolution has already begun. From San Francisco to Tokyo and Hong Kong, the plethora of companies that power the digital entertainment sphere are responding to decades of escalating costs and stagnant prices by feverishly adopting and developing new AI tools. Hundreds of thousands of jobs are on the line, yet company leaders and studio chiefs told Bloomberg News that the changes, while inevitable and painful, can empower smaller studios, boost creativity, and ultimately benefit gamers around the world. And I do want to truly believe this, that this is going to help smaller studios and boost creativity and benefit gamers. But at the same time, we are going to see the giant companies adopt AI and probably get rid of a lot of jobs. And I do understand that the way that AI is going, it's inevitable. Every company is going to be using it in some way, shape, or form because AI is necessary and people have to get used to it being used to produce assets in entertainment. Ultimately, I do believe them when they say it's going to create things that are almost insurmountable to create by a human team or outside of the realm of any type of budget that they could reasonably have. But, there are ways that AI is probably going to be abused in these industries as well. And the issue is that we have to look at it as a tool and not a replacement. It's like Photoshop. Did it replace photographers and artists, or is it a tool for them to use? And sure, we are going to lose jobs along the way, which is, it's sad, but it's inevitable. We have to be careful, and somehow the industry needs to be kept in check so that these AI tools don't become the sole creator of entertainment, because that would be an awful situation. There has to be some kind of synthesis between AI and actual creatives, and not one that allows AI to be the principal creator. AI needs to be a tool. But another issue with AI is parameters and the content that it is going to push out. It's not going to fix the problem with political agendas and woke narratives because they're going to give the AI certain parameters. It's going to, take them and push them to the extreme. DEI messaging from a bad dream to a nightmare. If you think human writers are coming up with bad content, wait until you see what computers are going to come up with. And that is a giant worry for me as well. It says the head of one of the major Japanese studios is preparing for a future where half of his company's programmers and designers will be unnecessary within the past 5 years. And they do give an example of, AI in a video game. And as you can see, AI is not perfect by any means. Sometimes it puts images like as you can see on a t-shirt, and it just doesn't make sense. The hands are notoriously bad. Hands are probably the worst thing that AI do, so they have to have someone fix things up. They fixed her mouth, they fixed the shirt, they fixed the hands. We are not going to see a world where AI completely replaces humans anytime soon, at least, but again, we have to be careful with AI. These companies have to be careful with what they are doing. And unfortunately, I do think that companies are going to push it to the extreme. It's like loot boxes, right? One company starts with loot boxes, then every company does loot boxes, and some of them, like EA, decide to push boundaries as far as possible, and we're probably going to see that happen with this as well. It's sad, but true. It says the video game industry is among the first to feel the full brunt of AI because it's largely digital, encoded in an AI-readable language, and created by software engineers well prepared to use, adapt, and improve new computing tools. The article also says game production costs have spiraled upwards faster than sales, with recent blockbusters The Last of Us Part 2 and Horizon Forbidden West reportedly costing Sony more than $200 million each and requiring years of work from hundreds of staff. But if we look at the sales numbers of these that we have, I can't feel bad for them at all. The Last of Us Part 2 made $168 million in its first month of release. That was at 2.8 million copies sold at $60, and it's over 10 million copies sold now. We don't know what Horizon Forbidden West made in its first month, but we do know it sold over 20 million copies now, and even if it cost the full $70 price for only 2 or 3 months, I'm sure it sold more than 3 million copies in that time frame, which would be over $210 million. Never mind the other 17 million copies for that, or with Last of Us Part 2, the other 7 million copies. I'm sorry, I can't feel bad for Sony. And to top it off, most games do not cost $200 million. Hell, most games don't even cost $100 million. You can't use Sony's top-of-the-line, top-tier franchises to represent the entirety of the gaming industry. And let's be fair here, when we're talking about content, all of the assets that AI uses to create new art are based on art humans made. So we're going to, get into the issues of AI plagiarizing other people's work. It's not making things out of nothing. And that's a way that this article kind of tries to present it, is that it's going to completely replace people, which just isn't the case. But like I mentioned, we've seen Netflix recently hiring an AI manager with a $900,000 salary amid entertainment industry strikes. I do think that they are probably going to, take this down soon because they have faced a massive amount of backlash over it, but it does show that they are trying to internally find a way to use artificial intelligence for writing specifically, and this gaming article doesn't really talk about the writing aspects, but I do think that we are going to see a lot of writing AI going forward. And also, I've recently talked about gaming journalists. Gamers Group job ad ignites backlash in gaming and tech media because they are looking for an AI assistant. They want someone to put certain things into an AI and basically proofread the content that it is pushing out. And of course, one of the major reasons why people are striking in Hollywood right now is because of AI. One part is pay, but another part is AI. This is another article that I wanted to reference. I've asked an AI to generate a trailer for a Heidi movie, and now I can never sleep again, a filmmaker and comic posted on Twitter on July 10th. The trailer starts innocently with a young blonde dancing around through the Alpine mountains, but it says that it basically goes off the rails at that point, and it creates just a cursed trailer. But it says, and yet that's the future many fear is set to be foisted on us with the rise of AI. Earlier this month, 160,000 actors went on strike, joining more than 11,000 writers who have been picketing Hollywood studios since early May. Fran Drescher, the president of the SAG-AFTRA union, has attacked studio executive heads-on and argued that AI, among other things, is threatening culture workers. The worry is real. ChatGPT can can imitate any genre, and tools like Gen 2 are already offering off-the-shelf storyboarding. Like I had mentioned, this is the opposite of what we need. We need good writers and artists to go back to the basics and create good content before everything became modernized and had political and identity ideology shoved into it, because the way that it's going with that stuff, AI is going to ramp it up by 1,000 times worse than what's coming from real live humans. We need to get that out of Hollywood and game production before we rely on AI, because that type of stuff cannot be allowed to be put into the parameters AI will be using. If Greta Gerwig or Jordan Peele's work is going to be used as the derivative work, then the stuff that's spit out by AI is going to be even worse than what those writers are putting out. And that is a big worry here, is they are not going to be creating good content. I mean, even human beings right now, most of the human writers are not creating genuinely good products. So of course there are a lot of worries surrounding AI in the entertainment sphere, whether it's Hollywood, whether it's the gaming industry. And yes, AI will inevitably change the gaming industry in some way, shape, or form. We are going to see AI be used, whether it is writing, whether it is in creating art itself. There are a lot of possibilities. All that we can hope is that these companies do not go overboard, that they find ways to utilize AI again as a tool and not a replacement. Only time will tell. And of course, this is a topic that is not dying anytime soon, a topic I will be covering many times in the future. But for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.